Hi, my name's Glenn. This is Karen, my wife, and this is our bus. Hello everyone, Glenn here again. Still working on the bus, obviously. Today I'm not installing my new seat, but this is my new seat. In case you hadn't seen the video, this is the new driver's seat that I traded all the bus seats for. It's brand new upholstery, everything. Matter of fact, when I went to look at it, it didn't even have any upholstery on it yet. It's a complete air ride assembly. It has the tilt back, the armrests that are adjustable. In case you tilt the back further back, you can adjust the armrest to adjust along with what the back is doing. So you just spin this little thing here, and you can adjust it down or up, whichever way you want it to be. So depending on the angle of the back. What I'm doing here is the old seat, where it's coming out obviously, is quite a bit different in the way it mounts, and not only the way it mounts, but also the way the height of this seat is different than the other seat in its form without the mount. The other seat has it's a shorter profile, but then it has a higher pedestal bracket, where this one here only has these brackets here. If I can see that, these brackets here that basically bolt to the bottom of the seat with these holes here, and up from the bottom the bolt goes up, and then your seat would this piece would bolt down to your floor pedestal, this hole here. So basically, once this is bolted down, then you can bolt the seat to this, or anyway, there's any number of ways of doing it, but I'll have to fabricate something to work. But the point is that this is only about an inch, maybe inch and a quarter tall. And so by the time this is bolted to the seat and sitting right on the floor, then it's only going to raise the seat up off the floor, the way it sits right now, about 1 inch, or an inch and a quarter. So the way it is now, it's pretty low for me. Obviously it's an air ride seat, so it'll raise up once you have the bus fired up and the air pumped up. The seat will go up. There's a lot of things here to consider in the design of how this thing's going to install. So basically what I'm gonna have to do is I'm thinking about just taking these 2x4s here and putting under the seat, temporary, just so I can gauge the height, approximately what this bracket's going to provide. So by the time I put those under there, the seat will be about that high, approximately, with the brackets. So the question is, with the seat this high, is it going to be able to slide forward and backwards without hitting the little wall that's behind the seat in the bus? So I may have to do some modifying there. That's kind of what I'm working on. So I'll take you inside and show you that's exactly what this looks like inside. So I've got the other seat pretty much out, except for the bolts going through the floor were pretty rusty. So this is what I've been working on here today. So you can see I've got the old seat out. I've got the pedestal here, which is about 3 inches tall, or 2.5 inches tall. Yeah, about 3 inches. The new seat, I don't want it more than about 1.5 inches off the floor. So this pedestal is not only too high, but just the overall configuration of it isn't right. So, but as you can see here, there's this little wall here at the back that if the seat is too low, the new seat, then it's going to, when you go to slide it back, it's going to hit this wall. So what I need to do is basically figure it out to where I can mount that thing here, and the sliding of the seat is going to work going forwards and backwards. I want to be able to have it to go back as far as possible so I can slide it back, get in and out of the bus easier. The bus does have tilt steering and telescopic steering, which is nice. But anyway, I just want to get the full range of movement out of the seat without it hitting something. So in this, it's not that I'm installing the seat today, but I am right now I'm into the design of this whole front piece here. I need to figure out what this whole approach here is going to look like so that I can incorporate the mounting of the new seat in with the design here. So, because I want to go ahead and bring my level floor forward as far as I can, which I'm thinking is going to go all the way to here. I'll add that 3-inch height all the way to here, and I'm thinking it's going to go back over and then this way. And I was hoping to be able to frame right across here, all the way across, and get this height all filled in so this whole floor is level. But it looks like that's not going to work out. So I may have to only bring this height here back to about here, and it's going to have to step down, over, down again, and then the bottom floor. So I was hoping to avoid having all these steps in it, but I may have to have that in order to get the full range of movement with the way that new seat is configured. So that's kind of what I'm working on. I'm having to cut these brackets off this old seat here because the bolts are all rusty, and plus the bolts are really difficult to get to on the bottom side. So once I build a new pedestal, then I'll just have to figure out how that's going to mount, and I'll have to kind of build the pedestal keeping in mind how it's going to mount. So which means I'm probably gonna have to pick up a welder. Anyway, that's going to be another subject. So, but I do need to get a new welder so that I can do some of these modifications. Appreciate you guys joining me today, and hopefully this will be somewhat interesting. We'll see how it comes out. I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting the bolts off here, and we'll see how that looks when it comes off. Once I can get that bracket off, or that old pedestal off, then I can kind of work on the design for the new one. So anyway, thanks for watching, you guys. Take care. And I'm not sure all what you could see in that last time warp there with the sun shining right into the camera. I just realized. So I've got the seat pedestal removed here. It was about 3 inches tall. You can see the pattern here of where it was bolted down. So this back side here, this back wall, I've taken it out. This is some of the old duct here, so I could shorten this floor down to that level and cut it back to about here, because I need 19 inches from this black mark here back, but I only have it here about 16 and a half or 17 inches from here back. So I need to get some room here. The only problem is that duct stops here, and this angle piece here kind of kind of tells me that that might have something to do with the wheel well down underneath. I'm not sure what that angle piece is, but I'm hoping I can get into this cavity behind this piece, cut this off, bring it back level at about the height of this hole off the floor here, which is about 2 inches up, go back and then frame it up and then back over into the floor. Another thing that I'm wanting to accomplish here is this whole area where this seat sets it's the same height as the landing here, but it kind of has this pocket back in there. It's really difficult to get to for cleaning and things like that. Matter of fact, until I got that old seat out of here, I wasn't even able to get in there and clean hardly. And I'd like to somehow make it to where I can get in here and clean after that seat is in. And I plan on putting carpet and stuff in here also anyway, and then I'll probably also cut this piece here off. This is kind of pointless sticking out. Either way, I'm going to cut this off probably about here and figure out my step in here. But this is all having to be done now in conjunction with the overall plan of how this whole seat and this whole entry is going to come together. So I'll probably go ahead and do some cutting in here and some measuring and find out what I can do to cut out this part of the floor without getting into some big thing that I don't want to get into, because it just seems like every little thing you go to do on one of these buses, it turns into a bigger problem than what you anticipated. So, but anyway, I'll do some measuring and some checking things out, and I'll hopefully be able to finish this video up with the progress of that endeavor. So it appears that trying to cut away this floor for the seat to be able to extend over it isn't going to work. And the reason I say that is I've taken this hole here that was already here before. I can feel there's fiberglass insulation down in there, so I'm thinking it looks like it's hollow, and this is the top of the fender well. So there's this cavity in here. So I drilled this hole in the front here, and it goes in and it hits something very, very solid, and it looks like it's about a ½ inch thick. So there's some ½ inch steel thing in there that there's no way I'm going to be able to chop that off. Who knows, it's probably getting into the framework or something, and so it looks like that isn't going to work out. So what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to bring the seat in and just set it here, put the 2x4s under it for the height, just kind of mock it up in place at this height, and forget about lowering this down. Anyway, so I'll bring that seat in, we'll see how that works out, and go from there. Okay, so I've got the chair in here. I've got it sitting here on these 2x4s because that's the height that it would have to be no matter what, because of the air cylinder underneath extends below the base. So it has to be at least 1.5 inches off the floor, and I've got the rear of the bellows up against that little back wall there. And so now I'm going to just kind of sit in it here and see if it would work here. Of course, I got to extend it back, so I think it'll extend over the floor. I haven't really checked to see how high that is. Ooh, it's right up against the floor. The two slides are right up against the floor. I don't know if you can see that or not. But anyway, I could raise it up a little bit higher, but for all practical purposes, it looks like it'll work there. It looks like it'll work here, because I can tilt this. I've got it tilted all the way forward, I guess now. So it's all the way forward. So really, once the seat is up higher from being raised up with the air, and then I can bring it forward more, which that's pretty scrunched up for me. That'd be too close to the steering wheel, but I can go back a little bit more to there easily enough, and then by the time the seat's higher, that should work. Also, with the seat going up higher, the column here is also telescopic, so it can go up higher as well to about there. So really, by the time I brought the seat up about 3 or 4 inches on the air, it should work pretty good. And then I can even slide it back further than I have it now. Basically, it's at its limit there. So I think it'll work. By the time I have it up higher, this will work fine. Feels pretty comfortable here. So that's kind of what I'm working on today, and we'll see how that works out. And I'm not going to install the seat just yet because I've got a lot of other finish work I want to do first, but at least I know it's going to work, and that's the main thing. So thanks for watching, everybody.